I'm Shishikaran. I have experience of more than 17 years in the trainings. I handled the different modules like SAP SD, AFS, FMS, and S for Fashion. Now, about this training, we cover all the fashion specific functionalities with the live sessions. We provide the customized notes for all those topics that we cover. When I say the customized notes, the documents, the study materials, which is prepared by us based on the experience. And these documents contains the cheat code, path, the screenshots, and the explanation for those functionalities. We also provide the server access to do the practice. And we also cover the real-time scenarios or say the business examples as part of this training when we are explaining the functionalities. So let us see the business modules of the fashion industry. If you can see here, basically the traditional business models or say the IT models are getting changed in the fashion industry. If you can see earlier, we used to have one single system where to cater the requirements of the apparel or say AFS industry, like for wholesale and the manufacturing functionalities. Also, if a particular customer is having the retail operations, we used to have SAP IS retail system to cater the requirements of the retail industry here. Now, if a particular customer want to have all the three functionalities in a single system, like the retailing, wholesale, and the manufacturing functionality, that's where the FMS will come into the picture. Basically, if you have this, we can have the better customer focus, and so you can expand the sales channels and have the success of the strong brands with the private labels. Now, FMS stands for Fashion Management Solutions, as I said, and SAP Fashion Management is a multi-channel vertical integrated solution covering all the three functionalities of wholesale, retail, and manufacturing processes. And of course, this works based on SAP HANA database. And if you can see the key capabilities of this, yes, we can have the single set of master data. You really need not to maintain the multiple master data at the wholesale or the retail system level. And you can have the global visibility of the inventory. You can see what is the inventory available in terms of the retail stores or in terms of the wholesale. And we can also have the common sourcing and the buying and the manufacturing activities. And of course, you can have the segmentation, which is basically talking about the requirement segment versus the stock segment. And we also do something called the supply assignment, which is basically talking about the allocation. And you can also cover the season or say the fashion specific core functionalities like the seasons, value-added services, MSOs, size value conversions, distribution curves, etc. Let us see these areas one by one. And let's talk about the master data that we maintain as part of the S4 Fashion. Of course, first thing, the customer master. Of course, the standard customer master has been enhanced with the fashion specific fields and the views to cater the requirement of the FMS. Meaning to say that you can maintain the size value conversion attributes, VAS attributes, and VAS customer groups, and also the customer groups from 6 to 10. In the similar way, if you can see the article master, apart from the basic, or say apart from the standard views, we have the FMS specific views in the material master. Here we call it as an article master, and the fashion specific views that we have in the basic data for fashion and logistic DC for fashion, also in the sales for fashion. Let us see the core concepts here. As I said, we'll be talking about the segmentation. Of course, this will cover at the OTC and the P2P processes. We'll be talking about the supply assignment, which is basically the allocation run. And we have something called the allocation workbench here. We'll be talking about the seasons, how the seasons is affecting into the fashion business. What is the concept of the seasons? We'll be talking about the value-added services and MSOs, conversions, distribution costs, and application variants. If we take an example of the sales order, how the FMS processing is happening in the sales order level, right? The sales order is having the requirement segment, seasons, and say the size value conversions, the distribution costs, application variants, all these functionalities. Basically, the standard VA01 screen has been enhanced to cater the requirements of these functionalities. That's what I'm trying to say here. And we have something called the segmentation. Basically, segmentation offers the possibility to categorize the demand as well as the supply based on the logical or the physical aspects of the product. Meaning that you can have the different quality of the product, or you can have the different country of origins of the product, and we can define these segmentation values and link to the article master. If you can see here, first we create the characteristics, then we create something called the segmentation structure, then something called the segmentation strategy, and both we link in the article master. And of course, the segmentation is basically affecting in the purchasing related transactions, also the sales relevant transactions. So the segmentation related to the purchasing, we call something like the stock segmentation, and the requirement segmentation is getting generated in terms of the sales orders, fashion contracts, and the stock transfer orders. Let us talk about the order allocation run. Basically, the order allocation run, we call it as, it's a tool which will help us to allocate the existing stocks to the open requirement, and based on the priorities or based on the configs that we do. And in AFS, it was a mandatory function, but in FMS, it's an optional entry. We can set this at the site level, also in the article master level. And from here, you can do the multiple functionalities from the allocation workbench screen, like you can allocate the stock, you can deallocate the stocks, you can block the requirements. Of course, you can create the deliveries from here and much more. Let's also talk about the seasons processing. Of course, all the fashion specific materials are seasonal based, meaning that you cannot sell the same product throughout the year. And the seasons are being affected in the production processes, the procurement processes, also the sales specific processes. And here we can maintain, hey, from when to when you'd like to sell this particular product. When to when you want to procure this product, or say when to when you would like to produce this particular product. And based on those dates that you maintain, when you're running the transactions, the system will have the better control. If you can see here, the seasons are divided into 4 different areas, like say the season year, season collection, and theme. And we maintain the season windows for each of the functionality. Right? And let's talk about the VAS, value-added services. Basically, it's an operation performed on the materials which will enhance the value or the usability of the product. So below is the examples that I'm trying to show here, and We have the VAS special handling, like say for example, putting the shirts on the hangers. And we have something called the VAS ticketing and labels. Like say for example, it may be a price label, it may be a brand label, or it may be a size labels, things like that. We also have something called the VAS special packing, like the customer may request you to pack in the gift box or assorted sizes, things like that. We also have something called the MSOs, multi-ship to orders. Basically, MSO allow you to capture the demand of one article for several ship to parties without the need of creating the multiple orders in a system for the different materials. So in this case, what happens? First, we create a main MSO and we explore this. The system will automatically create the child MSOs based on the number of ship to parties linked to that particular customer. So here, if you can see, the child MSO is the relevant for creation of the delivery and the billing. This is how the screen explains how you can explore it. Also, let's talk about the size value conversions here. Basically, the size value conversions, we have the same physical product, but the different countries or the different regions call them in the different sizes. For example, in men's footwear, the UK size is 8, which is called as 10 in US. Basically, this picture, I'm trying to explain the size value conversions for each of the country. We also talk about the distribution curves in FMS. Basically, this distribution curves are objects that hold the quantities of the distribution ratios for the different variant creating characteristic combinations. Meaning that, like say for example, if a particular customer is placing order for a shirt, how many pieces, say for example, is placing order for 100 pieces, out of 100, how many pieces for small, how many pieces for large, or how many pieces for medium, the system will automatically divide that based on the percentages that we maintain already. Right. So this functionality will be affected in terms of the sales orders or the purchase orders or the stock transfer orders. And we also want to will be covering the additional functionalities like the reportings and say the Fiori apps related to that. If you'd like to attend a demo, you can always reach out to me in the mobile number that I have specified here, also the mail ID that I'm showing it here. Thank you for watching this video. All the best.